The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
To On Trial, where we debate the merits of your favorite movies. Hope you're ready, Hollywood, because if on trial.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable William Harold Cox presiding. This is On Trial, the podcast where we debate the merits of your favorite movies, as our sultry singer just told you. I am an attorney. I am not. I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And joining me is my brother from another mother, Mr. Black History himself. They call him Mau Mau in the streets, and Jason in the sheets. How do you do, sir?
Hey, what's up, Mark? I just realized this is the first time me and you've done a show since him. So it's been a while. So I'm glad to be back talking an interesting movie with you, and I'm sure we're going to bat this around like a nice little volleyball.
Like a baby seal. Listen, I don't think you and I have actually done a show since last February.
Yeah, I don't think we have. I think the last time it was just me and you. Well, no, him.
Well, Robert was on him, if you'll remember.
Was he? I don't remember him being on him. I thought it was just me.
He doesn't like black people.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Utah and all. Damn warm.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just kidding, Robert. It's all fun and games here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. On the docket for tonight is another Spike Lee joint, Bamboozled. Now, Jason, as you recall, you and I, for a Black History Month triple feature a few years ago, we looked at 3 Spike Lee movies. It was supposed to be Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, and Bamboozled. But you, princess that you are, had to pick one of the movies. You had to have agency. You had to have choice. You are a busy businesswoman who don't need no man. And you made me watch the Spike Lee remake of Old Boy.
Because of the controversy that it stems from there. And there was a reason I chose that, because the original is so highly touted versus the remake, which was absolutely lambasted. And we discussed that when we covered that Spike Lee joint.
We did. But because we did not get to do Bamboozled the first time around, it's getting its own show because we are continuing to have fun here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. And what that means is we talk about stuff because we like talking about stuff and not because there's some synergy or other pop culture thing or
no more
in the movies that we have to address.
Yeah, we gave up on that synergy thing a long time ago.
We certainly did. So, Bamboozled, directed by Spike Lee, starring Damon Wayans and Jada Pinkett. Get your goddamn name, get my wife's name out your goddamn mouth. And Most Def. Tommy Davidson and what's the guy's name? I had it there for a second. This cast I actually had like memorized.
Savion Glover, Tommy Davidson.
Yeah, and Michael Rapaport. Every time my kids see Michael Rapaport now, they're like, "Is he the Nazi from Higher Learning?" They're like, that's all they know Michael Rapaport for.
Yeah. He's also on this season of The Traitors, which I had to introduce my wife to. So
excellent. So this movie came out in
2000.
In the year 2000, and I'll read some demographic information in a second. But essentially, it's about a Hollywood, New York City writer, television producer who is given the task of bringing a black show with some soul, with some staying power that draws ratings. Ratings is everything, pal. And Damon Wayans kind of fed up with. It's funny how like American fiction will do this a lot classier, several years in the future. 2023, I think it was. But essentially, he's like, all anyone wants to see on TV, for black people, is them humiliating themselves in some way. They either want slaves or they want thugs, or they want homeboys from outer space. Which that reference, me all these years later, made me almost pee myself. I was laughing so hard because how often do you get a homeboys from outer space reference?
Yeah, and the Living Color reference kind of got me too.
Yeah,
which was nice.
So he decides that he's going to do a minstrel show. He happens to know two guys who dance in the street for money, one of which is Savion
Glover.
Savion Glover, who is an actual tap dancer. So he taps, and Tommy Davidson kind of hypes him up like Flavor Flav. And it's decided that these two will star in a minstrel show that will feature a lot of tap dancing. And they're going to bring in a band, and they're going to call them the Alabama Porch Monkeys. And, oh no, you won't. And they're going to bring in other cast members and a guy to do crowd work, and it's all going to be perfectly racist. And it's a giant hit. Damon Wayans starts to really lean into the minstrel thing. Jada Pinkett has a brother who is played by Mos Def, who has a rap group called the Mau Mau's, and they are basically the dumb version of Public Enemy.
Yeah, I almost went with calling myself 1/16 tonight.
Yeah. So, without giving too much more of the plot, that's the whole reason. Like, I love this movie is that it really does lean into, especially from 20 years ago, the stereotypes about what is expected of black entertainment, what is expected of black entertainers, and kind of the Faustian bargain. I think everyone has to make in Hollywood to one degree or another, but with black people, it definitely leans into like early 20th century classism. It wasn't just, to say racist, I think misses an element of what it was that white people wanted out of black people, and that was to know their place. Stay second-class citizens, stay out of the way, don't make too much money or we'll drop bombs on you. Black Wall Street. But otherwise, we're willing to let you participate in society as long as you don't overtake anything that belongs to white people. And so here we are in the year 2000, and Damon Wayans is like, how much progress have we actually made here? And that's kind of the story of Bamboozled. Had you seen it before I pitched it to you?
No, this was my first watching of it and my last watching of it.
Okay. Had you heard about it? Did you know what this was at all?
Yeah, I mean, I was getting it confused with another movie. I have no idea what it was.
Like
I'd heard of it. No. It was some other. I can't even describe it. No, it was some other. I can't remember. I'm not even
Black Mama, White Mama.
No.
I can do this all day, Jason.
I know you can. That's our blaxploitation films in the archive. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking. Oh, I was thinking. I know what it was. I was thinking this was the Brendan Fraser movie. If you remember, we talked about this off air like a long time ago, and I thought this was the Brendan Fraser movie where he and I think it's Shannon Elizabeth is Satan, and I was really getting confused.
Bedeviled.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was when you first pitched it. That's why I was so adamant. Yeah, we'll do it. I don't care. And then I come to find out I was wrong, and it is nothing.
Damn it, Rattledge! It's another trap.
Yeah, when I seen the Black Sambo, I was like, those movies, those things you see on, it's like the porn parodies and says, I think I downloaded the wrong movie. That's how I felt. I was like, I think I got the wrong movie, and then that's why I was asking you questions, and it's like, I know I'm at the right movie, so you
Yeah, you
know,
should like I'm like how many fucking bamboozled? Okay, you thought it was a different movie. So I'll just kind of finish up with the demographic stuff, and we can just start talking about the movie. The film was given a limited release by New Line Cinema during the fall of 2000, and then was released on DVD the following year. Critical reception was mixed, and the film was unsuccessful financially, becoming a box office bomb. Despite its initial reception, Bamboozled later achieved cult film status for its satirical look at stereotypical depictions of black people in both historical and contemporary American film and television productions. And in 2023, because these are all the movies that we do now, Jason, was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Jason, every time you hear those words, do you like?
I
You know,
cringe, and
yeah,
I want to fight a midget and punch a baby
I
every time I hear those.
I want to get a copy of the National Film Registry and just do every last one of them with you.
I, well, I do owe you and Robert a movie review. If I remember, I did lose a bet, so I do owe you and Robert a movie review. So
well,
I
I've already made other people do Showgirls.
I love Showgirls. Showgirls is a great movie.
Showgirl. Oh, that's right. You're not Chris Bailey and have an aversion to tits. Um,
Hey, I love Bailey. Bailey's my
I love
homeboy.
Bailey too. Him and Alexis should go bowling together. They can all they can all play with
well,
action figures and
he
watch
would be-
cartoons. I love Chris Bailey. No, at
yeah,
some point in the near
I
future,
love one of the two people you mentioned.
at some point in the near future, I have a triple feature of like French rape films that I think I need to make you watch. I think that should be the like how you honor your.
I figure you would make me watch like Nymphomaniac or something.
Yeah, well, I will devise a
No.
specific torture for you.
No, hold on. The deal was Robert has to be a part of this too. So whatever you subject me to, you're subjecting him to, and his sunny disposition.
Wonderful. He might be on that one. No, that might be Sean. Anyway, let's talk about the movie here instead of trying to make other podcasts. So the movie goes like this. Like I said, I everything up to the point where they make the show. Slowly but surely, everyone gets fed up with the. It's funny. We have a word that came about maybe 10, 15 years ago. Cultural appropriation. Which was another way of saying basically that anything cool that a non-white race does, the whites will appropriate and take upon themselves and make significantly less cool. in this particular case, Damon Wayans in sort of a producer moment is like, let me do a minstrel show. This won't work. I'll get fired because who can do a minstrel show in the year 2000? And I can be free to wallow in my art. And just like the producers, he does everything right, and it becomes a hit sensation. And this is the point that I'm getting to, and this is what starts to drive everyone away from the show. White people and black people alike love the shit out of it. They think it's fake. They think it's great. And while there's the moment in the film where they're just like, "Are you gonna do white faces with blackface?" They're like, "No, we're gonna do black faces with blacker face." You could just see like, "Oh God," and that's what they do. Here's the problem: about halfway through the movie, the live audience shows up, and they're all in blackface.
Yeah, all looking like Sambo's in the audience.
Yeah. There's a point where the hype man is just like, yell out your windows. Look, I'm going to say words on this podcast. I'm going to say words that are in the movie. I'm clearly not racist, or I wouldn't be talking about this. So
yes, you are racist.
Sure. And if you think if I repeat lines from this movie that happen to be an ethnic slur, that somehow makes me buy a racist, go fuck yourself. So hype man.
Hold on. Let's do this caveat. This movie is very non-PC, and it's meant to be that because Spike Lee is known for pushing the envelope and everything. So yes, we will be discussing that aspect. So yes, we will be using dialogue that is controversial now, but 25 years ago in the year 2000,
I really don't want to self-censor or baby talk my way through this.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
so the hype man is just like, I want you to go to. He's like in a new, was it not news radio? It was like the newsroom or something like that.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a
the line is like, stand up and shout, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. His is, I want you to go to your window and shout, I don't want to be a nigga no more. The fucking crowd.
yeah, and then you get the audience, and we're going to jump ahead here in the movie. And when you get to the audience and he's surveying people, and like you get the Italian guy who says, I'm a bigger nigger than anybody. I'm
I'm a
blacker.
civilian nigga. I'm a bigger nigga than all y'all.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's like, and this is something Spike Lee's good for is he turns the camera back on itself,
Yeah.
and it shows that, and some movies are really good, like this in the cultural aspect. This really is really good at that. Do the Right Thing was amazing at that. I love Do the Right Thing.
Hang on,
We covered that.
so I can finish the point that I was trying to get. I was actually trying to get to the plot. It's at that point when the audience is yelling back at the guy, I also don't want to be a nigga no more, and it's like half white people. It's at that point that Tommy Davidson is like, I'm done making a mockery of myself. I'm done sending black people back 20 years. I quit. And everyone and at first, him and Glover are like, Glover's like, I don't understand why you'd quit this. This is a good gig. We eat well. And he's like, because at some point, this isn't really about entertaining anymore. This is about debasement. Go ahead.
Well, I think there's a scene before that where Glover's doing is teaching the dance routine. That's what starts everything. And Tommy Davidson's kind of, and because Glover kind of gets an ego to him, because he's the focal point, and Tommy Davidson is kind of pushed to the sidekick role, and when in reality Tommy Davidson was the main focus.
I'd say he was carrying that show.
Yeah, and when they was on the streets, and that's what, and he kind of reminded, he's like, I'm still that guy, and he kind of jumps at him, and Glover flinches, and he goes, that's what I thought. Right. Then you start down that road. Then that's when Tommy Davidson just kind of has the epiphany of, this is ridiculous. Right. I'm selling myself for money, and I'm losing all respect for myself.
So the next thing that happens, and I'm kind of going to push through this, Glover and Jada Pinkett kind of form a relationship, which then gets sabotaged by Damon Wayans. She then walks away from the show for a variety of reasons. The next one that tries to leave or to successfully leaves is Glover at the very end. And while all this is happening, there's Jada Pinkett's brother's rap group, the Mau Mau's, and headed up by Big Black Africa.
BLK.
And they are not loving this whole thing. Their whole thing kind of gets sidelined for a little while so they can deal more with Glover and Jada Pinkett. They're brought back in at the end. They basically kidnap Glover. They do an early version of Saudi terrorists cutting off someone's head, and they film him in a room. They shoot at his feet. They make him tap dance, and because Spike, and this is one of my criticisms of the film. And because Spike Lee doesn't really trust the audience to know what's happening, they have to cut to fucking Yosemite Sam while this is going on. And
show the old Bugs Bunny shooting at the feet.
And then they fucking shoot him dead. The cops come and they shoot everybody dead. And because Spike Lee doesn't know how to fucking control himself, there's the one white guy going, "Wait, you didn't kill me. Shoot me too." Who's part of the Mau Mau's.
I'm 116.
The Mau Mau's are all shot dead.
I'm 116. It only takes a drop of blood.
Yeah. You have a finer eye for detail than I do. Anyway, at the end, so Jada's gone. Glover's been shot. Tommy Davidson's gone. The show is in shambles. Damon Wayans loses his fucking mind. And that's about where the movie ends.
Jada Pinkett Smith breaks into the office.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about this.
Blames everything.
Where I'm kind of done with it, so I don't remember the details. But yes, after the Mau Mau's get shot, Jada Pinkett is now out for revenge. She breaks into Damon Wayans' office and shoots him down. And he kind of Sunset Boulevards his way out of it. He like narrates himself out of the film.
Yeah.
Okay, I greatly appreciate you being quiet so that I can get through the entirety of the plot line and get people to understand it. It was really good, Jason. I appreciate you. And you've waited so patiently, Jason, that now I will ask you, hey, Jason, what did you think of the movie in its totality?
The movie, I mean, for one, I'll go out and start on the negative. One, I think this movie was about 45 minutes too long. I think you could have streamlined this and got everything in, but of course it's Spike Lee, and he's going to beat a dead horse until it can no longer function, and it'll be mentally retarded for the rest of its life. Most like the audience that watches some of his later works. But yeah, this movie was way too long. Now, for the cultural impact, I've seen a lot of things that we're seeing there that are still prevalent in today, and that's the exploitation and stuff and what sells, but not so much just based on race. But now you got one of the most popular shows ever, shoehorning a kid being gay in it. You always have a gay character, something like that, and it takes away from the overall aesthetic of a successful show. I'm looking at you, Stranger Things. But yeah, you have that mentality. Now, I hate Jada Smith. I think she's a horrible actress.
Really?
The only thing, yes, I cannot say. The only thing that I think she's ever done worth a damn is Gotham. I liked her. I liked her in Gotham. That's pretty much one of the only things. I mean, if I thought hard enough, I might find something else. But off the top of my head,
being a little too hard on Jada Pinkett. I think she's got
no.
a halfway decent body of work.
She ain't. There's nothing halfway decent about her or her body. But yeah, I think that you could have got somebody. I think for the role, I think it was beneath somebody like Halle Berry or something. So I think she fit the role to be, a C-level actress to fit that role in a Spike Lee movie. Damon Wayans is absolutely amazing in this. Playing the self-induced Oreo. He's black on the outside and white on the inside. Being that really,
that's worse than blackface. That insult. But
yeah.
Let me say this. Do you know this is the movie I'm referencing when I tell the anecdote about how Damon Wayans wanted to do an accent and Spike Lee said no, Damon, no.
Yeah. I caught on to that when I was watching it because he plays this, and this is an extension of one of his In Living Color characters. In all honesty, I find that is a scene. He played a character with the similar dialect and voice tone and stuff on In Living Color. Now, like I said, Spike Lee, he's a great director. I mean, he does have some misses in his but when he hits, he hits. I mean, you got to look and Do the Right Thing. Me and you covered it. Absolutely phenomenal movie. Malcolm X. Did he do Mo Better Blues?
Sure did. Yeah.
So I mean, me and you. But then we have the misses like his remake of Old Boy. So it's you get a mixed bag with him. But as of a whole, if this movie would have been 45 minutes shorter, I would have liked it a lot more. I think it kind of drug out the whole misrepresentation. Some of the stuff went on a little way too long, and kind of took me out of the movie. But it's right there in the middle is when I started kind of. I think I even messaged you. I was like, shit, I still got 45 minutes left of this. And I think it could have wrapped up a lot neater and a lot more cohesive, where you would have had the ups and downs. Michael Rapaport is he's great in his black face is on point. I with the edginess stuff, the and because if anybody knows how white Michael Rapaport is, I mean he's like so white he's transparent and just like this really blonde hair, really fair skin, and you've got this like really black face on him is absolutely hilarious. Um, the whole chicken shack thing was pretty funny. Um, and some of the interactions. I mean, Glover is an amazing tap dancer, and I'm
Not a
happy.
good actor. Not he
Not
his
a,
acting his acting
that's
was minimized purposefully.
that's why I said he's an amazing tap dancer, not a great actor. And Tommy Davidson does a lot of heavy lifting with their interactions and stuff because the physicality of the tap dancing is Glover carrying the lines and everything. Tommy Davidson is a phenomenal actor that I don't think gets the love he deserves because he could be a great supporting actor in larger roles, but I think he kind of got pigeonholed from In Living Color and stuff to being this quirky side character that you could throw in to a movie to just kind of be he's the Ron Killings of
He
movies.
honestly he came in too soon because the next two guys that are going to follow him with similar builds and styles are Kevin Hart and Cat Williams, who I know are on like opposite sides of the fence, but like,
Well, I mean, even Chris Tucker.
hmm
I mean,
like
I
Tommy
think,
Davidson came too soon.
yeah, I can see that. I think if he would have came later on, but I mean, he's a phenomenal character, and I think he can play a more serious role when he needs to because you've seen when he switched when he had enough, and he
Mhm.
called Glover out. You could see that kind of intensity behind his actions and everything. So really like that. Did I hate the movie? No. I mean, the movie is good for what it was. It does do a lot of social commentary, which like we always talk about. Spike Lee is known for that, but he drags it out a little bit longer in this movie. Like and I always call back to Do the Right Thing because that was such a perfectly executed movie. How he handled the social aspect of it, it wasn't so ham-handed and beat you over the head. It actually you felt like you was actually looking in on a day in the life of a New York borough. This you feel like you're waiting for to get on with it. So kind of like when you talk about when somebody's doing their plugs, you're just like get on with it, shut up. Uh, but anyway, I think this is something. I mean, I don't hate it as much as the animated movie you made me watch that I have erased from my memory, and I love.
Nerdland.
I don't even know the name of it.
You're so
I just know it was.
Let
I
me
just
ask you
know
a
it was
question.
an animated movie.
How long do you wait between cleanings of your vagina to make sure you get all the sand out?
Well, I mean, I keep a little in there just to keep
Okay.
just to make me know that I'm still alive.
Okay. I
So
understand.
so it's not a dead fish. I at least have
Yeah, sure.
some aspect of it. So yeah, you can go fuck yourself too. Um, but but
For the new audiences, he had to watch Nerdland 100 years ago, and he hasn't gotten over it.
it wasn't 100 years ago. It was about six.
God, if you want a fun
It was
thing,
about 5 or 6.
get Jason to have a lifelong grudge with you. It's amazing.
It is. Somebody's learning that now. Um, but we'll go into that. See, I keep you on your toes. I keep you on your toes. But we on trial. We kind of, um, it's known as a pretty formative back and forth. This one, I don't think we could do that. I think we just need to talk about some of the aspects because neither one of us really hate the movie enough to take a prosecution stance or defense stance. So I want to know your favorite aspects of this movie.
Okay. So a couple of things. One, I completely agree. This is 15 to 20 minutes too long. The movie ends when the Mau Mau's killed Glover and Damon Wayans loses his shit. You really don't need Jada Pinkett's "I'm a strong black woman, and I'm gonna shoot you. This is what black feminine power looks like." Which, if you don't know, that's a line from One Battle
Yeah.
After Another. We don't need that. The the sequence should have been the Mau Mau's kill Glover, and then there's one final conflict with Jada Pinkett where basically she's like, "You got my brother. You got him killed. This is on you," and I'm walking away. And that's real. And then he goes to the office. It trashes the office, and he's alone, broken in a pile of crap. And maybe the last thing Michael Rapaport says is his Kleenex desk, and that's it. Then the movie's over. That's all you needed. The For it to go into another like 10 minutes of every terrible thing that's ever happened to black people captured on film was utterly unnecessary. This is Spike Lee never knowing when to stop.
Yeah, you have way too many montages in this movie.
Yeah. That was another thing.
The
Another
montages
criticism I
were-
had of this was, while the minstrel scenes are hilarious to me, and that's mostly because, again, Tommy Davidson is a great comedian, it's too much. Like, you needed one full swing through the show, and then, see, I want to back up a second. What you really didn't need, because you said one of my favorite aspects, the very first time Glover and Davidson have to put on blackface, and Jada Pinkett's narrating, and about how they have to burn the corks, they have to mash it, they have to add water.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. It is one of the most well-crafted, beautiful scenes of an ugly experience ever captured on film. It is, like, a lot of people don't know Bamboozled. A lot of people will have never or will ever see this movie. But the scene of them putting on blackface the first time is worth the watch. It's really, really, it is sensual without being sexual. It is heartbreaking. There's so much going on, and it's you and I have both talked about how Spike Lee and John Singleton are as subtle as a mule kick to the nuts. It is one of the few times Spike Lee uses restraint, and it's one of the few times that he's really created something beautiful. You also didn't need to do it again. I mean, you need to show the progression of Tommy Davidson fucking losing it, and and the resignedness of Glover's character, but you show the full sequence once. The second time it's a quick thing with Tommy Davidson getting frustrated, and then the third time it's just kind of like just mashing it on his face and like, fuck it, let's go, because after that he's gonna quit. That's all that needed. Spike Lee, again, doesn't know when to stop, does the full sequence the first time, does the full sequence the second time, and then I think he does the full sequence a third time. And I'm like, you are showing the same thing every time. It's getting less pretty each time you do it, but not in the way that's good.
Right. I mean, I think if you're going to put the montages in there, you could have did the montages of you could have cut down the actual shows and done those as like montage clips and showed the preparation.
Yeah, you really only needed to show it once, and then you're right. You probably could have showed the progression of Tommy Davidson's frustration while doing the second thing they do one too many of. I understand this is a movie about minstrel shows, but it's not really about a minstrel show. It's about what we want of and what we take from black people in terms of entertainment. So you really don't need full 2 to 3 or 4 full-on minstrel show sequences from top to bottom. It got excessive after a while. As I said, once the Mau Mau's kill Glover and Damon Wayans destroys his office, that's the end of the movie. Everything else after that is utterly unnecessary. And, I wish Spike Lee had like a collaborator that could control him. Because it's like, he did this with Malcolm X too, where at the end of it, he has all the kids going, "I'm Malcolm X." I'm like, we get the fucking point. There comes a point where like, this is an uncomfortable movie. It's funny as shit. Everybody in this, from like Most Def to Jada Pinkett to Damon Wayans to Savion Glover to Tommy Davidson, Michael Rapaport gives stellar performances. It really is a well acted movie. It's also wildly uncomfortable. Like,
But
I'm
that's the
not
good
tremendously
thing.
uncomfortable with this, but also I've seen it before, and I delve into uncomfortable politics all the time. You should hear what I had to say on the White House Plumbers Review. But for like the normies, for the average Joes, this is a wildly uncomfortable movie to watch, and you ruin it with that extended sequence at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as uncomfortable as doing a podcast with somebody you can't fucking stand. Um, but that's beside the point that Hawks, licensed material that should never be a Comic Con. But anyway, it is uncomfortable, and it's a necessary uncomfortable. Um, it's not uh, it's not the uncomfortable as in, and this is going to say a lot about this. It's not uncomfortable in 2000. It's uncomfortable in 2026. Um, because, and we do this a lot. I mean, me and you talked about movies all the time. We've talked about older, because me and you, we've done B-side movie reviews and stuff, which I absolutely love and I absolutely miss, and we need to pick that back up. But we look at a lot of things from a with 2025, 2026 lenses on shows back um, in the 70s and 80s. Like my daughter's boyfriend's over tonight, and I introduced him to Blazing Saddles,
Mm-hmm.
and
Wait.
he
This Blazing Saddles?
that was actually the scene that was coming on as I came in to record. But he's mixed, and we laugh about it. And I was like, "Dude, you have to watch this." I was like, "I'm gonna tell you," but he understands. He's like, you know, he's in the Marine Corps and everything, and so I'm like, "Dude, you're good. We're watching Full Metal Jacket tomorrow evening together. I'm making us popcorn and brownies and giving him some crayons to munch on." Um, and we're going to watch Full Metal Jacket together. But and I told him, I was like, you, and me and him talk about stuff that he has experienced, that his parents have experienced. Um, and I'm like, look, I will tell you, yes, I'm racist because I hate everybody equally. I hate humans. I was like, if you're an alien, you're cool with me. I was like, I hate humans. I said, because, and me and him had an in-depth conversation about that, because he's been overseas. He's seen some of the shit that I could never imagine. But he's, you know, but I showed him Blazing Saddles, and he was like, "This is the funniest movie I've ever seen." And I'm like, "You get it." Now you could go on to show Blazing Saddles to somebody else. In today's atmosphere, Blazing Saddles could never be made today. It is absolutely can never be made. And despite what our lovely friend Ronnie says, it is still better. Young Frankenstein is not the best Mel Brooks movie, and I will die on that hill. It is the third best Mel Brooks movie, and yes, I will end the podcast over that. But it's the uncomfortable that if you showed somebody, if you put Bamboozled on the air right now, and you showed it in a theater right now, you would have so much outrage because people would miss the point. They would not see the exploitation. They would see being offended. And sadly, I'm going to go, I don't care if this pisses people off. Sadly, the people that would be offended are pretty much white liberal women. Nobody else would have a problem with it. Everybody else would probably
You've been on
laugh.
TikTok a lot lately, haven't you?
No, I haven't been on
My liberal woman is now everyone's favorite target on TikTok.
No, I mean I mean, if you go in, if you see all these protests and stuff, or you see anybody that gets offended, it's a white liberal woman with a septum piercing. I mean, that's it. If you don't, if like Frankenstein,
I'm about to fucking finish watching the hockey game and let Ronnie come on this podcast.
well, I mean, at least it would be pawning him off on somebody that he actually likes. but no, I mean it's great. I mean, but you see this, you from your clinical background and everything, and plus you live in Florida. You see the culture shift. You see the outrage comes from one narrative. Uh, you really don't see a lot of other people getting outraged. You see a specific set with a septum piercing, colored hair, lives in lives in their mom's basement, or has 12 cats. But it's that thing that you just don't understand.
All
People
right,
can get offended.
can we? I want to answer your question
Go
from
ahead.
before about stuff I actually like about the movie we're supposed to be talking about. Um, those are my major criticisms. Everything else I really like about the movie. I actually like the way the minstrel scenes are choreographed. Tommy Davidson and Glover, especially Tommy Davidson, they actually do have really funny chemistry together. Damon Wayans is far and away like Damon Wayans doesn't get enough credit as an actor, because he's been in a lot of silly shit. But
Right.
when given the, and I'll never forget his stand-up special after he had left In Living Color, went to go do movies, and is in his own words, my movie career ain't shit, and he went back to doing stand-up. Um, and I feel like this was somewhere in between that time. But this is an example of I've said this about Adam Sandler, I've said this about Will Ferrell, I've said this about Jim Carrey. Their comedy is so lowbrow and so wide that it tends to annoy me, and most people will enjoy it, but I hate it. It's too wide for me. However, when you put Damon Wayans and any of the actors I said before in a drama, it shows how good of an actor he really is. And it's a crying shame he was never given more of a chance to be a dramatic actor because he's quite good.
I mean,
I have left
uh,
is I mean, look, like I said, Spike Lee's not the most subtle of filmmaker, and he has definitely got a bone to pick with white America and its treatment of black people, much of which I think is justified. I'm not I'm not one to criticize Spike Lee for his sour feelings towards white people, and some people would say it's like I'm not gonna cry about the guy who has been this successful on his own merit in, Hollywood, as a black director. You know, without Spike Lee, there would have been in John Singleton. There would have been no Jordan Peele's. There wouldn't have been Nia DaCosta. There wouldn't have been. Hang on. There wouldn't have been a lot of people that were successful after them. They definitely paved the way. So I grant Spike Lee his grievances, and I'll tell you what. And I'll let you respond to this after I get this point out. Um, this is one of the few movies that is very grievance driven that I think isn't shrill. It's
okay, I see that.
long-winded. It's long-winded, like everyone that does a podcast with me, but it's not shrill. It, I think it's making its point really, really well. And once the point is made, we're just kind of dealing with consequences and drama. That second half of the movie only starts to fall apart because it goes on too long and there's too much unnecessary stuff at the end. But from everything from the point at which Tommy Davidson's had enough to Damon Wayans destroying his office, it works. It moves at a pace. It flows. It's logical. And my only real like what the fuck moment is the same what the fuck moment I had at the end of the modern Candyman movie, which is, all right, we're gonna end this by having the cops kill the Mau Mau's, except for the one white guy who we can't just let it be subtle. We can't just let him get arrested and have the audience make the connection. Hey, wait a minute, the white guy didn't get shot. No, he has to fucking lampshade it and be like, "On, hey, shoot me too!" Like, ugh, you were so.
Yeah, I mean, you could address that differently, but I agree with just about everything you say. Now, I'm going to pose this question to you. You mentioned John Singleton and Spike Lee. Who has been more influential in the black film industry? In your opinion?
Between John Singleton and Spike Lee,
Yeah,
probably. I'll be honest with you, probably John Singleton.
I would agree because Boys in the Hood is the epitome of black filmmaking. Um, I mean, that's the go-to. And you was talking about paving the way. I was trying to think of any other outside of Jordan Peele, uh, most
I'm talking
notably.
specifically about black directors because
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
black directors have this one thing in common with like black quarterbacks, is that we'll put a bunch of black people in movies. This is great. We've been doing this since the dawn of time. You know, it's funny. I bought a T-shirt off at the TikTok shop recently, and it's Red Fox giving the finger. And there's like this long tradition of black players, and when you get popular enough and trustworthy enough in white Hollywood, you will get more power. Look at Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor, despite setting himself on fire, was dependable, professional, and damn fucking funny. And so he got to do a little bit more than black guys at that time got to do. The other one would be Robert Townsend. If you're thinking of a third of like another person to pave the way for people, Evan Bevins and I are actually doing a triple feature of Robert Townsend movies, because little do people know of Spike Lee and John Singleton, the third guy that really paved the way for black directors today, specifically black directors, was Robert Townsend.
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't remember a lot of him for his directorial stuff. I remember him for
Hollywood Shuffle, Meteor Man.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, the 5 High Notes or something like that.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'll tune into that because, like I said, I'm not real familiar with his directorial work.
Mhm.
I know Robert Townsend more of in front of the camera than behind it.
Yeah, Robert Townsend. So I know Robert Townsend. This does actually link, because to get to the Wayans brothers, you have to go back to Robert
Right.
Townsend. Robert
Yeah.
Townsend did an HBO special called Robert Townsend and His Partners in Crime, and that's when the world got to see the Keenan Ivory Wayans and the Wayans brothers. That's where you meet Damon for the first time. If not for that, there is no In Living Color, and if not for In Living Color, there's not a lot of things that we now take for granted.
Oh yeah, you don't get Jim Carrey, you don't get Keenen Ivory Wayans, you don't get Damon Wayans, you don't get Marlon Wayans. I mean, you don't get
Yeah,
King
sorry, I meant
Fields,
the 5 Heartbeats.
you don't get you don't get hell, you don't get other cultural people like Paul Abdul. Uh, that had impact on the '90s culture. Um, and I mean, and in Living Color, and I think this was kind of in Living Color was kind of something similar to what they was going for a more blackface in Living Color.
Well,
Um,
okay, let me help you, because I think the point you're trying to make is In Living Color really rode that line of like debased black comedy and something palatable so that no one could call it debasement. And
right.
and, it, and if you and it's really funny because the big actor that came out of In Living Color was Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
and it's almost like they had to hide behind Jim Carrey to not be criticized for it.
Well, I mean, and that's what's funny. I talk about looking through the lens of now into there. I mean, Jim Carrey is now catching flack over over his female bodybuilder that was on steroids. Um, I did not know that. Thanks, Ronnie. I did not know that he directed Raw, Eddie Murphy Raw. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, Robert Townsend was huge. I knew Robert, like I said, I knew him before the Wayans brothers. And we was talking about Damon being a serious actor. I cannot. I mean, I have a handful of movies I like of Damon's. Most notably, my favorite movie of Damon's has to be Major Payne.
I would have bet money and lost, which would be normal for me, that it was going to be The Last Boy Scout.
That's my second favorite.
Knew it.
Because yeah, I love The Last Boy Scout, but Major Payne just has that little engine that could, and it's fun because you get to see Damon kind of take on you get to see his comedic side, but you get to see that he has heart and that he can be a more serious actor. There are some serious tones in Major Payne that let him kind of spread his wings a little bit. But going back to Bamboozled, I think that I think this is a film. One, it doesn't need to be and preserved for anything
Before you finish your
because
thought, I do want to talk about one scene.
okay,
You were asking me about the conversation's been a bit unruly tonight, so there were things that I wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to, and I
well, we
really
got time.
want to talk about that scene between Jada Pinkett and Mos Def, because there's a couple of things going on in this movie that I think a lot of modern directors, especially the ones doing therapy speak in their movies, could learn from. This movie takes the intellectual or the quasi or the sub-intellectual conversation and makes a movie out of it. You know, there's a bunch of different scenes here where, especially Jada Pinkett and Mos Def, when he comes home for the first time and they're talking in her kitchen and they're having the same debate essentially that Gregory what's his nuts and the chick from American Fiction are having. And when the white people leave the conference room and when they're trying to figure out who to give the award to. Did you see American Fiction?
It's been a while.
But you have seen it, yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So at the end of the movie, when all the white people leave the room and they're having lunch, and Gregory, help me out with his name. He's Commissioner Gordon in the Batman.
In the Batman,
Yeah,
the Robert Pattinson Batman.
the very same.
It is.
I should have just looked up American Fiction.
Jeffrey Wright. Right.
That would help that I was calling him Gregory. Take two. It's the same conversation that Jeffrey Wright's having at the end of American Fiction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ronnie. Everyone's like, Jeffrey Wright, you moron. But when Jeffrey Wright's having it at the end of American Fiction, there's a lot of emotion to it, and a lot of anxiety and frustration. It's very palpable. It's very raw. He wants to jump across that table and wring her neck. And she's like, you're being ridiculous. You're not living in reality. I am living in reality. And you're mad. Like, I get that you're mad that this is reality, but what are you going to do? Live in a fantasy your whole life and be miserable? It's kind of what you're being now anyway.
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett and Mos Def are having that same conversation. But when they're having it, it's not that it's less entertaining or more entertaining. I don't think that's the right way to frame it. It's cinematic. Jeffrey Wright and her are having that same conversation that you and I could be having on a podcast. It's got that level of intensity to it. But it's not cinematic. There's nothing about the framing or the blocking or delivery. It's too raw and it's too real for it to be cinematic. When Jada Pinkett and Mos Def are talking, it's almost like Shakespeare. They have that has a rhyme and a kind of a sing-songiness to it. There's also what Jada Pinkett and Mos Def do in that scene, which I think is brilliant. They captured that familiarity with each other almost instantly. Like, I believed Jada Pinkett and Mos Def were brother and sister. They had that tension that a brother and sister would have. They had, that level of play that they have, that genuine animosity that they might have. All of it there was so much subtext, Jason. Why I'm like, why is he going on about that one scene? Because other than the blackface scene, it's the best scene in the movie.
It's good. I feel it felt to me too sanitized, and where I mean, if
by sanitized you mean not enough like the Jeffrey Wright scene from America.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it came off really contrived. I think that you would have had a more of a raw emotional scene, like some Dutch camera angles.
That scene. He just came home from prison. He progressively aggravates her, and it ends when she's hit maximum aggravation. Jeffrey Wright comes into that scene aggravated and stays at that level the entire time.
But I mean, I get the progression. I see what you mean, but I think that you could have done if it would have been if it would have felt more organic to me. Like I said, when I say sanitized, I feel it's overly frame,
You and I, we're kind of arguing, but not really arguing, because I'm saying it's
yeah.
very cinematic, and you're like, you're right, it's cinematic, it's not real. Right, Jason, it's cinematic, it's
No,
not real.
no. I'm just saying. If I'm just saying the scene itself.
Yeah.
I felt that it would have been more impactful. I mean, it was a good scene. I don't think that I'm not going to put it on the pedestal you put it on. I think if it would have just came off more, it didn't come off organic.
Okay, let me pitch it to you a different way, and then we can move on from this. None of this movie is realistic. None of this would actually happen. Okay, there's no way. The premise of this movie is that Damon Wayans can pitch a modern day minstrel show, and it gets on the air and becomes a big hit. Even in 2000, you're not getting a minstrel show on the air. Hence our conversation about Living Color 5 minutes ago. The whole movie plays as fantasy, so you can get away with talking about some very real things in a fantastic, overly cinemaed way, as opposed to American fiction, which, never mind the parts about the family, and you just deal with the parts about the book. As over the top as that is at times, because the whole premise of American fiction is he my favorite scene in American fiction. We're gonna retitle the book to "Fuck." Well, this will certainly get it, unpublished. This has to work. Like, we've agreed to call your book "Fuck," and it's like, there's a part of you that wants to believe that would never happen, except that it absolutely would happen, especially now.
Yeah, because everybody has a pet project. Everybody has to cater to everybody else. Would it get eventually canceled? Yeah, because one person would complain about it, and it would devolve from the masses. You could have one person out of 100 people speak for the 99 who love it, and one person that has an issue with it.
This is the last thing I'm going to say about this particular subject. This movie has a dreamy sensibility to it, which American fiction did not. And I think that dreamy veneer, that dreamy sensibility, is why scenes like that maybe didn't work for you, which is fine. You're entitled to your opinion and your own, aesthetic preference. It did for me. I didn't need this movie to be hyper realistic. I like the fact that, Spike Lee took us into a pocket universe where this would be possible. And in that universe, the physics of how we understand life don't seem to exist. As long as it's consistent within its own universe, it's fine. Everybody in the movie is hyperverbal, but not the Aaron Sorkin type of hyperverbal, which I talked about last night with Jesse and Gavin on when we discussed Sports Night. This is like hyperverbal to with a point, and it's also not nearly as verbose.
Okay, I'll agree. I'll agree with you there. But I mean, you could probably get a minstrel show made nowadays and put it on BET. Simply because
put it on TikTok, that would be more appropriate.
Well, I mean, BET. I mean, you can pretty much get anything on BET.
I'll start doing my TikTok reads in blackface, and go completely no sell it.
You should.
Just kind of like blackface. Like White House Plumbers is a really great show.
Completely Sambo it up.
Yeah.
I would make that I would share that across every possible stream ever. I would make 20 different TikTok accounts just to share that.
Okay. Be nice if you had that kind of enthusiasm on the stuff I'm actually doing, friend. I'll give you the last word, even though you've clearly had a lot corked up for a long time and decided to come on my past and relieve yourself all over the place. I'm going to give you the last word because I'm just that good of a guy. Your final thoughts about Bamboozled, fuckface.
Bamboozled is what happens when you told that you're going to do a Mortal Kombat with everybody. Nah, I'm joking with you. You gotta love it. No, Bamboozled is when you bait and switch podcast with someone that. But anyway, I digress. I'll play nice. But
Jesus, what the fuck did I do? You happy now, bitch?
I'm gonna keep hitting buttons.
Wow, I'm talking, and you keep muting me. I was going into talking about how Bamboozled is a aesthetic that is. If Jay didn't relieve his show in your show, would it be a good show? Obviously not. I mean, I do have the highest rated show in all of broadcasting history. We won't talk about that with me and Baby Metal. But anyway.
And now, I'm up at News Flash.
Enough people come on Mark's show and shield themselves for 15 minutes. I don't need to. Bamboozled is a great movie that is aesthetically pleasing, and I don't think it deserves a Library of Congress, but I do believe that it has a place in history and film history as being something in the black culture. Finger off the button. I thought he said finger fuck the bun. That kind of caught me off guard.
I will when we're done here. My girlfriend's waiting patiently for me.
Well, I'm trying to wrap this up, and Ronnie keeps it. Well, no, I don't. I'll bear back it anyway. I think that Bamboozled does have a place in film history. I don't think it's as on the level of some of the other black films that me and you covered, and I think that the next time we convene on this show will be a very more pleasing because we'll have Robert's sunny disposition.
Yeah. When are you back? Are you back from Mercy?
Yes, I'm back from Mercy.
Okay.
Yes,
if you've enjoyed Jason's brand of movie reviews and passive aggressiveness, we will be kicking off. In all honesty, we should have done this on February 5th and then done what we are going to do on February 5th tonight, but
I don't make the schedule. You do.
No, I'm not really complaining. It's fine.
What are we doing on February 5th?
We're doing our Super Bowl preview show, which is Varsity Blues, the program, and Necessary Roughness, and that is prior to the 8th February, which is the Super Bowl.
Oh, dude. Okay, I'm on the 26th, the 2nd, and the 5th. Damn, I'm going to be relieving myself all over the Radledge Broadcasting Network soon.
Well, it doesn't stop.
And then we got two white guys. We got two white guys in Black History with me and you doing Black History.
There, friend. So yes, our Black History show series starts in earnest on the 12th with Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, and then we've got 3. If you enjoy black cinema that nobody saw, we're going to look at the Book of Clarence, the American Society of Magical Negroes, and They Clone Tyrone. And then we close out Black History Month with a Denzel Washington triple feature, actor focus, Glory, Mo Better Blues, and John Q.
And I have a lot to say about John Q. I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. Yeah, I think it's one of the best Denzel movies ever.
So I think that's that. You're not on Crime 101, but I think are you on Psycho Killer? Yes.
Yep, I'm on Psycho Killer. Killer.
So yes, if you're new and you haven't heard Jason on the show before, because it's been about a year, not counting the him show, you're gonna get a lot of Jason over the next couple of weeks. So buckle in. Did he say strap in or strap on? All right. Does anyone let you do podcasts with him anymore, or am I like the last island that will accept you?
You're the last one that accept me, as long as I get written permission from Your Lord Highness, Princess Powder Puff of the Comic Con.
So yesterday, myself and Jesse Sarcher and Gavin Napier, who are well-behaved boys who are welcome back at any time, we did Aaron Sorkin's Sports Night, Season 1. Prior to that, Jason's girlfriend, Alexis Haina, shut up, Jason.
Fuck you.
That's fine. And her other boyfriend, because you guys are in a polyamorous relationship triangle.
No, I'm not.
They did Stranger Things Season 5.
And Alex Gamus. Alex Gamus was appropriate.
And prior to that, myself and Robert did a triple feature of possible Oscar contenders for Best Picture. Begonia, Maudie Supreme, my #1 movie of the year, and Hamnet, which I said was the saddest movie of the year, and Robert said, "Calm down, Pansy. It's not as sad as you're making it out to be, but it is quite sad." And then on Sunday, I'm going backwards. Sunday, myself and Jesse Starcher reviewed White House Plumbers, a decidedly less passive aggressive podcast than this one was. Sunday, my favorite boy is back. Jesse Starcher and I will be doing an on trial civil court edition. We will be comparing the War of the Roses with Michael Douglas and I believe Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito, and we'll be comparing it to the Benedict Cumberbatch iteration called The Roses, which came out sometime last year. We didn't get to it on Damn You Hollywood, so we're going to do an on trial on Sunday. Monday is the first Damn You Hollywood in earnest, first Damn You Hollywood in theater movie review. We will be doing 28 Years Later, The Boneyard. And then he turned on the buzzsaw. And then Alexis on Tuesday will be reviewing Welcome to Derry. No podcast on Wednesday, thank God. Thursday, I will be doing a podcast with a well-behaved, nice young lady, my kind of young lady, one that likes to take turns talking, give and take, like very nice, pleasant young woman who is welcome back at any time. Your friend and mine, Shay Tate, will be talking to me on Triple Feature. We'll be looking at Rock of Ages, Tommy, as in the Who's Tommy, and Jesus Christ Superstar, Who Know What You Are.
Is that the new one with the Black Jesus,
Um,
or is it the original? Well, because I know that they're doing I know that they're doing a new one with the chick from Wicked, the one that looks like
now I
Nosferatu.
can't do it on a review now, can I?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it has released yet. I just know that fucking they had the black chick that looked like Nosferatu from Wicked in it.
Oh, Cynthia Erivo, eat a sandwich. And what do you call it? Ronnie says that already happened on stage. So there. All right.
Okay.
Well, this has been on trial for Jason Teasley. Good to his mother.
Hold on. I got one. I'm going to end on this. The quote, Jim Cornette. Thank you, fuck you, good night.
Wonderful. Be well, be safe, and behave, you asshole.